So, Black Americans, this video is for you actually. I want to ask you a question that is bothering me so much. I believe, yes, Black Americans built America to this, country that everybody wants to go to. Like, there is this thing that was called the American dream, right? And I believe that it was built by the Black Americans. Now, look at the way the country is now falling apart. America is no longer the America it used to be anymore. Like, it's shrinking. I was having a discussion with somebody today, and unlike most Nigerians before, when they hear America, they'll be like, "Oh, we want to go to America. Everybody wants to go to America." Right now, people are they're boycotting it. People are saying, "No, we don't even want to go there for free. We don't even want." We heard people are now suffering there. Cost of living is now expensive. It's on the rise. People don't have no jobs again, and plenty things. How do you feel? I want to know. I love you all so much. I want to know, how do you feel after your ancestors built this thing? Today I was literally very emotional. Each time I want to go, I want to think of this whole slavery thing. It's a lot of things come to my head. Sometimes I break down and I cry when I remember how these people were maltreated. A lot of things they went through, both the men, both the women, and everything. I feel heartbroken. Now they kept doing that thing. Imagine some of them were even unalived. Some of them were not eating at some point. And at the end of the day, they lost their life in this battle to make America great for you. And right now, it's falling apart. What do you guys think? Don't you think there is something behind this? And a lot of people, especially the white people, are saying that this present administration has a lot to do with this. That the country is going into a whole lot of debt and is getting richer. Right? You're going to see it in the videos I'm going to post. But I'm so concerned. I know this video might not get the whole publicity it needs. Like, videos like this don't really get views. But I'm so concerned about it because now we know that you all are going to take over. But the thing is, how do you feel when you're going to take over a country that is almost dead? How are you going to start working hard to restore it? Do you think it's going to be easy? Well, let's just watch these videos anyways. Then I will come back. I'll come back with anything I can say. But literally, with what I've said, you have to really think about it. I'm concerned, and you should too.
I have to say, I'm always amazed, disturbed, sometimes can't believe what I hear on this floor. We're sitting here today as the government shutdown is looming. Survivors of the crimes committed by Jeffrey Epstein and his associates are here on this campus sharing their harrowing and heartbreaking stories. The court has just ordered that Trump's illegal tariffs have been put in place and are harming Americans and violating the law. And the president is deploying our brave men and women who serve in the National Guard to occupy American cities. And what is the GOP's agenda for this week crammed into this one bill that we're here to debate? One fake appropriations bill that they know will never pass. 3 resolutions to undermine protections for the environment. 1 resolution snuck in the dark of night to reconvene the January 6th Commission to try to rewrite history. And 1 resolution designed to provide Donald Trump and the White House cover in one of the largest Epstein cover-ups we've seen. This isn't about protecting people. We have a bipartisan discharge petition right there at the clerk's desk. If my colleagues would like to see the files released, the 2 of you who are in this chamber right now could literally walk down there and sign that petition right now. But you don't want the files released. You want it controlled by the Oversight Committee. Because if you did, you could sign that petition right there that would release those unredacted files. Now let's also be clear. Donald Trump issued a statement today that said to all of you, you Republicans here in this chamber, that if you sign that discharge petition, he will count it as a hostile act. That's right, the United States president is threatening members of his own party in this chamber from signing a petition that would release the full unredacted Epstein files. So my question is, what are they hiding? Who are they protecting? And why are our colleagues failing to have a backbone, not only to stand up for the survivors, but to stand up for the American people?
Hey, let's talk America. Everywhere you look, we're being played. Simple as that. Check out the border. It's not just immigration. It's cartels running billion-dollar businesses while our so-called leaders play politics. They make it about left versus right, but you know what it really is, right? Right. It's families, our families caught in the middle. Americans are paying the price while politicians and media have no interest in fixing it at all. Why is that? Because some are complicit and profiting from it. Corporations and politicians alike. You think it's some Mexican thug ring, but in reality, they're fully established in legitimate businesses fueled by their drug monies. So if you stop the drug trade, you stop the legit profits. What about healthcare? Same story. If you get sick, you don't just fight the illness, you fight the bill, don't you? A system built to bleed you dry while drug companies brag about profits. And it doesn't matter who you voted for. Everybody feels it. Let me give you a personal example. I once went to the ER while visiting my parents in Pennsylvania. I was there for 45 minutes. The bill? $8,000. $8,000. For the same money, check this out, I could actually pay for 7 years of full coverage private health insurance in Turkey. The best doctors, no way, private hospitals straight in. So tell me, why is that possible in a so-called third world country, but not in good old USA? I'll tell you why. Too many political campaigns and media companies profit from it. You can't kill the machine that funded the very campaign that got you elected, now can you? And the economy, well, they'll tell you the numbers look great. But numbers, they're just statistics. And you and I know the truth because we're the ones buying groceries, filling up the tank, paying rent or mortgages. Washington calls it inflation like it's some abstract thing. It's not, because for regular Americans, it's survival. Meanwhile, what's the big conversation? Billions of dollars overseas, endless meetings in Europe, endless discussions about a war we don't want or control. All while veterans who fought our wars sleep in parking lots. That's the game. Keep you distracted, keep you angry at your neighbor, keep you glued to red versus blue while the establishment laughs. But here's my point. They can't win if we stop playing. The guy across the street who votes different from you, he's not the enemy. The mom working 2 jobs to put food on her table, she's not the enemy. We've got more in common with each other than we'll ever have with the people cashing in on our division, no matter what they say. So what do? Because talking about the problem without action is just noise. This doesn't get fixed in Washington first, by the way. It gets fixed in your house, in your neighborhood, in your business, in your community first. We take care of our family first, our health, our money, our mindset, because strong families are the foundation of any strong country. We must stop letting the media program us to hate our neighbor because of a Trump or a Biden sign. Go shake a hand. Go talk face to face. You'll see real quick we've got more in common than the media and the politicians want you to ever believe. We must hold the powerful accountable. That means asking hard questions, refusing to play their division game, and speaking truth even when it's uncomfortable or dangerous. And we live with integrity. We say what we mean. We keep our word and stand on values that don't bend in the wind. If enough of us do that, if enough of us stop being spectators and start being participants, the system can break. Not by burning it down, but by starving it of what it needs most: our division, our silence, our compliance and fear. We can't wait for Washington to do it. We fix America by fixing ourselves, our homes, and our communities first. That's how we win a fight like this, guys. And make no mistake, it is a fight, but not against each other. It's against the system that's been robbing us blind. And once we stand together, there isn't a cartel, a corrupt CEO, or a crooked politician that can stop us. That's the truth, and that's where I stand. And for my non-American friends, the same goes for you and your country. Your move. What's it going to be? Follow me on Patreon for more.
Nobody wants to come to the U.S. anymore. At the beginning of 2025, tourism was estimated to be up about 6.2% this year. So going into 2025, we're going to see a 6.2% increase in tourism. By August, tourism is down almost 8.2% at a loss of $12.5 billion. Nobody wants to come here to this. Who would want to come to a police state nation where the National Guard and all the police and federal agents and ICE are picking people up in masks and people are being detained and disappearing? You got law enforcement on every corner. Who would want to spend their vacation here and deal with that? Who would want to bring their family to a police military zone? Hell, the citizens in the cities aren't even coming out no more. They're staying in the house because they don't want to be bothered with all the stress and BS coming from all the officers detaining people, pulling people over, stopping people, walking up to people sitting on park benches. What's going on? Who would want to be in this type of environment? Like, everybody around the world hates us right now. And they're looking at us just waiting for us to implode, honestly. Both our neighbors to the north and south, Canada and Mexico, want nothing to do with us, don't want us there, and they don't want to come here. They don't want to do business with us. Nobody is feeling any kind of love for the U.S. right now because of our, I won't say, just DJT. Let alone the fact that nobody wants to do business with us due to the tariffs that you impart. So now that you've put the tariffs on everyone, nobody wants to hire. Nobody has money to make new jobs. Nobody wants to import. Nobody wants to export. Nobody wants to deal with the U.S. We look like a country on the edge. We look like we have no idea what's happening in the world. We have incompetent leadership, turning a blind eye to genocide, turning a blind eye to people suffering, rounding up their own people, citizens, veterans, unfortunate, underprivileged, people that fell victim to this system. And there's no heart, there's no intellect, there's no empathy, nothing being shown to the citizens here from the administration that's in charge. Nobody wants to come here. I wouldn't want to come here.
America is shrinking in 2025 for the first time in 250 years. Even though births are exceeding deaths by about 500,000 people, immigration to the U.S. is collapsing. The foreign-born population dropped by over 1 million people in the first half of 2025 because of either deportation or because they just left on their own. And new immigrants are not coming to replace them. And if these statistics bear out for the full year, the U.S. is on pace for a population decline. Never, ever, ever has that happened in the history of the United States of America. Even during the Civil War, when 700,000 soldiers died, the population went up. Even during COVID, when nobody could even move from country to country, the population went up. And a shrinking population is not just a number. It means fewer workers to support Social Security, fewer workers' taxes to help pay for schools and healthcare, slowing down economic momentum, less people to innovate, spend. Is this a bad thing for the United States? Let me know what you think in the comments.
It's the largest raid in U.S. history. 475 workers arrested at a construction site in Georgia. All of these people were construction workers or construction managers building an electric battery plant for Hyundai. All were South Koreans. Governor Kemp of Georgia actively solicited South Korea to spend billions of dollars to build this plant. ICE is proud of themselves. They arrested 475 people, but this exposes a huge conflict in our government right now. Donald Trump is running around the world making deals with countries. And the deal is invest money in the United States and you can avoid tariffs. Yet at the same time, after they invest their billions of dollars, Donald Trump is deporting the workers needed to build the infrastructure to support these investments from these countries. Take, for example, the U.S. battery industry, the actual factory where all these workers were arrested from. Trump is asking to build more battery factories in the United States. Yet 82% of industry leaders said in a recent survey that the United States lacks skilled workers to build these factories and operate these factories. And hundreds of thousands of jobs remain unfilled right now in the United States. So we're asking for investment. We don't have workers to build this investment. We're deporting the workers who are already here that are helping to build these investments. Tariffs are going up. And what countries are going to want to invest in the U.S. if we're arresting their citizens and deporting them?
So the Trump administration is changing the name of the Big Beautiful Bill. They're changing the name of the Big Beautiful Bill because the only reason why it was named the Big Beautiful Bill was so that it could get passed. See, they counted on the fact that there are 186 million Americans whose literacy level is below that of a sixth grader. So they knew that even if you could read it, you weren't going to comprehend. You were going to see Big Beautiful Bill and think exactly that, Big Beautiful Bill. And that's what happened. And now they're coming out and stating that they're going to be changing the name because it does not accurately describe exactly what is in the bill. But see, when the Democrats came out and told y'all what was in the bill, when the 92% and the most educated group in the United States, the African American women, tried to tell you what was in the bill, you said no, you thought that you knew better. And now Donald Trump is literally saying that, nah, we have to change the name because the name that we gave it was successful in it getting passed. But it doesn't tell the people exactly what's in the bill. And because now people are starting to realize what was in the bill, the polls of the bill, as far as how it's favored amongst the American citizens, have plummeted. And that's why now they're trying to change it so that they can make it seem like they're being transparent, like they're a transparent government. Yeah, I got a lot of screenshots, but don't pay attention to that, okay? You could go and find the article on USA.com and look at the title right there. It says that Trump rebrands Big Beautiful Bill amid poor polling. What is highlighted in yellow is what I'm going to be reading out aloud. So you can follow along as well as making it very clear the quotes that came from Donald Trump, okay? These are words that came out of this man's mouth. So the first one is, so the bill. I'm not going to use the term great, big, beautiful, Trump said. It was good for getting it approved, but it is not good for explaining to the people what it is all about, okay? The next quote is, it's a massive tax cut for the middle class, Trump said. This is a lie. It's a lie. Like he's still counting on the fact that not only is 43 million Americans illiterate overall, but there are 186 million who have the literacy level under that of a sixth grader. So even if they can read the actual words, they have a hard time comprehending it. Okay, they have a hard time actually understanding what they're reading. So he's still fucking lying. It is a lie because the Democratic Party, the 92%, have been telling you that everything that is in this bill, right, and you could read along again with what is highlighted in yellow, that it disproportionately benefited the wealthy and hurt lower income Americans, okay? The Congressional Budget Office projects that it will result in 10 million more people without health insurance by 2034. And while the Senate Joint Economic Committee minority estimates that about 20 million people will lose or could lose coverage, Medicaid is being cut by nearly $1 trillion. They knew that. They knew exactly what was going to be in the bill. They knew exactly how much it was going to hurt the middle class and lower Americans. However, they counted on the fact that you couldn't read. They counted on the fact that majority of you in rural America could not read to get this bill passed so that they could take away the funding that you so desperately need. It is because you allowed for this to be passed why there are health medical professionals coming out right now telling us that they're getting laid off, why hospitals are closing, why health programs and centers are closing, why it's literally looking like the death rate toll is about to skyrocket in the next couple of years. It's because he counted on the fact that you couldn't read. He counted on the fact that you were dumb and you couldn't read, and he used it against you, and he was successful. But when the Democrats, right, when the 92%, the people who can read, who can comprehend, who did understand, tried to let you know what was in that bill, you said, no, it's named the big, beautiful bill. It must be great. You're welcome.
Another one who sadly doesn't realize how tariffs work. The tariffs are not a tax on another country. The tariffs are a tax on American citizens. That's number one. Number two, America has the highest national debt. So before you start talking about bailing out other countries, look at all the countries that have bailed America out. China alone owns almost $1 trillion in U.S. Treasury funds. If they decide to dump those stocks, that would cripple your country. So stop watching Fox News, stop listening to Trump, and do your fact.
Donald Trump has increased his net worth by $3.4 billion in the last 8 months. While the American GDP is shrinking, his net worth is climbing. You don't believe me? Stay tuned for this clip.
Mr. Speaker, under the economic policies of Donald Trump and Republicans, America is now in decline. For the first time in 3 years, we have negative GDP growth. That means our economy actually shrank this year. It takes a special kind of stupid to take 12 consecutive quarters of positive economic growth and make it go negative. Now, the information I'm going to be reading off to you is provided by Forbes News as well as CBS News. There's other sources, but these are the two main ones that I'll be using. So the U.S. economy has experienced a contraction in 2025 with the GDP falling at an annual rate of 0.5 from January through March. This marks the first quarterly contraction since the first quarter of 2022. The decline was primarily attributed to the surge in imports as businesses and households rushed to buy foreign goods before Trump's administration tariffs took effect. And it's not just the tariffs. A lot of the executive orders that he signed off in January has called for a lot of layoffs, causing the American unemployment rate to rise. And now reports have just revealed that Donald Trump has made more money than any other president while serving. In just 8 months, he has grown his net worth by $3.4 billion. And it's causing many to believe that there's some insider trading that's going on. There's some violations to the Constitution, because how in the hell, when the entire economy of the American country is failing, it's going in the red, you are going in the black. Every other president or presidential candidate had revealed their tax returns. They made it clear to let the public know not only where they started off as far as becoming president with their net worth, but where they're leaving after the 4 years is over. We're able to see exactly how much money they are making personally in the 4 years that they are serving. Because remember, a president is a public servant. Yet Donald Trump, no surprise, is the only president that refuses to release his tax returns. He refuses to let the public know exactly how much money he's coming into the White House with and how much he's going to be leaving with after the 4 years are up. Not only that, most presidents make most of their money after they run. After the 4 years are up, that's when they start making money. That's when they start getting these brand deals, these book deals to basically, tell everybody their experiences of them being a public servant. But while they're in office, while they're serving, they usually make it clear to stay clear of any type of business ventures or any type of business related anything. Not only did Donald Trump hold on to all of his business ventures, he actually expanded them in the 8 months that he's been in the office. Donald Trump had business ventures in cryptocurrency. Do you guys remember the Trump coin? That made him so much money. And then as soon as other people tried to start, buying some stocks or buying stocks in the coin, they all went in the red. Yeah. He also has some new international developments going on his properties, on his golf courses. He also publicly traded social media company. How are you doing all of this while you're in the office? And now Massive Reports breaks the news that Donald Trump purchased $100 million in bonds to the companies that his policies would directly impacting. Now, I'm no accountant. I cannot give any type of financial advice, right? But just how I'm understanding it, right? The way that I see it is, if I know, right, I have the power to impact your business, right? That right now the stocks are a little bit too pricey. I don't want to pay that. But I know that I have the power, the influence to impact your business to the point where now it causes your stocks to drop. It'd be really smart of me to buy as many as I can while they're at an all-time low. No? Y'all could correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. And that's what a lot of people are believing Donald Trump did.
Stay tuned for the next clip.
This January, the president's bought more than $100 million worth of corporate and municipal bonds. That is according to filings from the Office of Government Ethics. This kind of active trading by a president is unprecedented. It means Donald Trump stands to benefit or suffer losses, depending on how these bonds perform. But these bonds include banks, and they include companies, and they include local governments that are literally directly impacted by the decisions that Donald Trump is making in the White House. Tim, is this classic Donald Trump? You are extremely familiar with how this gentleman works as a businessman.
It's not even Donald Trump working as a businessman. It's Donald Trump working as an insider trader. It's Donald Trump in a position to influence the interest rates that determine the value of the bonds he's buying. It's that simple. The other thing is a drop in the bucket. The $100 million in bonds he bought is a drop in the bucket in terms of the grift that's going on in the White House around cryptocurrencies. His net worth, I think, jumped by more than $2.5 billion based on paper, but it's on cryptocurrency assets he holds at a time when his family had absolutely no experience in the business before he became president.
And it's not even just the insider trading allegations, which is a federal crime. Remember, Martha Stewart did her time for that. It's also the fact that he would also be violating the Constitution. He would be violating the foreign domestic emoluments clause in the Constitution, which is an anti-corruption clause. 2 grounds for reason for impeachment. I'm just saying. So the fact that the American economy is shrinking, it's declining, unemployment rates are up, and Donald Trump's pockets is getting fatter, it just makes it very clear that the current president that we have serving this country is not a public servant, okay? He is a salesman. He is a business person that is looking out for his own personal interests. And you guys voted for him to be able to do that. You voted for him to be able to have the influence where he's able to impact businesses and he's able to profit off of that. Because $3.4 billion in 8 months? Oh, that's crazy. Making money in areas that he had no knowledge of before he became president. Making money in areas where if it had not been for the policies, these companies wouldn't even be impacted in order for him to make the money. But y'all voted for that.
The Trump family raking $3.4 billion during his presidency isn't just corrupt. It just proves the presidency in the United States of America is treated as a business venture, not public service like they claim. While working class people were losing jobs, homes, and healthcare because of Donald Trump's disastrous economic policies, the Trumps were stacking billions, including from cryptocurrency alone. That's exploitation on the American people at its highest. And this is what capitalism really looks like. When politicians use their power and position not to serve the people, but to enrich themselves and their families. Wild part is that Donald Trump supporters keep worshiping him like he's a savior. But the only thing that Donald Trump is saving are the billionaires at the top, himself included.
The American dream is debt. Let's talk about it. All of the aspects of the typical American dream is literally debt. Going to that incredible university, the private out-of-state university or the Ivy League university, you have 6 figures of debt. Driving that nice car, you have a 4-figure car note. Having a mortgage, you're locked into a 30-year loan. If you want affordable health insurance or a 401k, you need to work in that 9 to 5. If you don't want to be screwed by the tax people, you need to get married and have kids. The American dream is to be in debt and to have so many dependents that you have no choice but to work and work and work until you literally can't work anymore and have no choice but to retire. That is the American dream. And we're also taught socially to subconsciously look down on people who choose alternative paths. People who are more free than the average person, people who choose not to have children, who choose not to get married, who choose not to work in corporate, people who choose to go to community college or trade school instead of getting, up to 6 figures of debt at a university, people who choose to drive beaters or to buy used cars instead of brand new cars off the lot. Those people are looked down upon because that is not in line with the American dream, which is to get as much debt as you can so that you don't have a choice but to work. It's just something I've been thinking about a lot lately. Like, the American dream is literally just you getting into debt. So
I'm sorry, but the American dream never fucking existed. Like, what? Your dream is to work until you are 65 and decrepit and not be able to make ends meet the entire time? Like, I'm sorry, but that just does not sound remotely appealing to me. It's not even about the dream anymore. Like, people are literally just trying to afford living in America. And here's the thing. If you are working for America, you will never be able to live your dream life in America. And I know that most of you have probably already scrolled by now because you don't think it's possible to live in America without working for America. I was a server at the beginning of 2023. I quit my serving job. I started affiliate and digital marketing in April of 2023. and have now made almost $300,000 working online, and none of that came from my serving job. So if you are genuinely interested in working for yourself, starting an online business, check out the roadmap. It's at the top of my page. It literally shows you everything that you need to know to make money online, to start digital marketing. But I promise your dreams are so much more achievable than you think they are, but you're probably not going to reach very many of them by living that American dream life.
The people who are for it, what's their mindset?
They're scared. They're afraid those immigrants are going to come over here and take their jobs. Let me tell you something. You can build a wall 50 feet tall, and smart Hispanics, Latinos, smart Ecuadorians, smart others are going to tunnel under that wall and come up in their friend's house on the other side. You can build walls until hell freezes over. You will not keep that immigration from happening, and you better hope we don't keep that immigration from happening. We need those people. You know what will happen to the economy of this country if we take all the people who are brown-skinned immigrants out of this country, if we send them back? Do you know what will happen to our economy? Do you know what will happen to farming in California? Do you know what will happen to the price of your fruit? Do you know how hard it will be to get a good avocado? Do you have any idea what will happen to this country's economy if all those brown-skinned people go back to Mexico? I don't think we do. I don't think people have thought about that because they are being taught not to think. They are using a language. Right now, we are using a language that includes words like extremism and ugly language about people who are different from ourselves. People are listening to those words. They aren't listening to the philosophy behind them. They aren't listening to the core principles which this person has none of.
Imagine the condition of America being so bad that even some of you are moving to Mexico. Imagine Mexico to live, all because you want it to be cheaper. It's really sad. Is there nothing that can be done about it? I'm asking a question. What do you think can be done about this? Let's discuss this in the comment section. What do you think? Is there anything? Do people need to come out and protest? Would you all be needing a very big protest like that of Black Lives Matter so people can actually join you all in the world because it's collapsing. It's collapsing and it's so shocking. People are just living their life and they're just okay with it. This is not the America I used to know, to be honest. I still want to come to America, but like this, I don't want to come and suffer. What do you think? Let me see that in the comments. And do not forget to subscribe to share this video, right, to other people. I'll be back next time with a big one. I love you guys. Stay bold.